Howdy soldiers, welcome to another Accessibility Army video. And today I want to talk about a game that I believe is being missed by a lot of people. Mafia Definitive Edition. The reason why I believe this is being missed by a lot of people is because Mafia has a lot of fans, but most people are busy nowadays playing Ghost of Tsushima or Grand Theft Auto Online or Red Dead Redemption 2, and this game is going under a lot of people's radar. Now, Mafia Definitive Edition is a faithful remake of the original Mafia by the studio that created Mafia 3. They're using the same engine they used to make Mafia 3, however, it does look vastly improved here. Now, this footage isn't gameplay of the game, however, it does give a good taste of the engine. Now, where I stand with Mafia 3 is this. I'm a big fan of Mafia 3, even though I didn't like the story as much as Mafia 2, and mostly the reason why I didn't enjoy it is because it didn't feel like a Mafia game to me. Lincoln Clay was not part of a Mafia, and if he was, it was a very understated Mafia because he was part of the Black Mob. And while that is historically accurate for the time period that they were trying to depict in Mafia 3, which is 1968, it just didn't feel like a Mafia game. The Mafia aspect of it was missing. Rather than playing as a monster as it should have been, we were trying to take out monsters. It was like Mafia 3 was trying to subvert expectations, but it didn't succeed. This is where Mafia Definitive Edition comes in, and it's why I'm excited. There's a couple reasons why I'm excited, and I'm going to go into that in this video. The number one reason why I'm excited is because we're going back to the Mafia's roots. This is set in the 1930s Prohibition, where the Mafia was front and center due to bootlegging alcohol. And we're once again playing as an Italian American, which was honestly my favorite part of Mafia 2, because I thought Mafia 2 was superior to Mafia 3, and that Vito was just a much more relatable protagonist. Now, he returned in Mafia 3, but he was relegated to the role of a side character, and I felt like they were doing him a disservice, and a disservice to the fan base by doing this. However, because many of the people who played Mafia 2 wanted to see Vito again, and that was the reason why they played Mafia 3. Tommy Angelo looks like a different type of guy. I know he's a cab driver, and I know he's doing it for family purposes, but I don't want any spoilers in this video because I've never played Mafia 1. I played 2, and I played 3, and with shortcomings aside, I fell in love with the story and the world building of the franchise. And since I never played Mafia 1 when it came out in 2002, this will be a brand new experience for me. Now, the engine does look vastly improved as compared to Mafia 3, so I'm very excited to see what they'll be able to do. There are certain things I want to talk about with regard to accessibility, as Mafia 3 was as close to accessible as you're going to get with the franchise, but it still had a few shortcomings that I hope Mafia Definitive Edition addresses. The biggest one of these is with the way combat works. Lincoln Clay and Vito Scaletta were both professional soldiers, but this didn't reflect in the combat because for two guys that prided themselves on being tough as nails, they were softer than a rose petal when the bullets started firing. And even when you had your health fully upgraded in Mafia 3, it didn't feel like it took very much to take Link and Clay down. And for a guy that was 6'4" and 230 pounds, that didn't seem right to me. So I really hope that on easy mode, this game is a lot more forgiving than Mafia 3 was, because Mafia 3, even on the easiest difficulty, was not very forgiving, and a lot of times enemies could somehow shoot you through walls, and this was unacceptable. Now the other thing where Mafia 3 fell short was that the enemy AI was less than desirable. A lot of them would go to the same spot where you kept killing enemies in order to investigate what happened, and this made them easy prey. Now normally I would look at this as working in favor of accessibility. However, games have proven that you can have good AI and still be successful and accessible. And Naughty Dog's Uncharted 4, which I primarily use as an example on this channel, is good proof of that. I hope that Mafia Definitive Edition doesn't have any levels that involve tailing enemies or that trigger fail states when you're unable to follow an enemy because you can't see them on your screen. I don't want any levels where stealth is required and automatic mission failure triggers when you break stealth. However, I do think that this is a bit of wishful thinking because this is a Mafia game after all, and if the other two iterations in the franchise are to be believed, then there will be a lot of driving. However, there is one way that the developers can fix this, and that is by including a system similar to Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, where upon failing a mission 3 or more times, you have the option to skip that particular checkpoint and save yourself the frustration. The other thing that I hope that Mafia Definitive Edition addresses that the third one had, but it wasn't done particularly well, is the aim assist. The aim assist in Mafia 3 was good, but it wasn't anywhere nearly as responsive as I would have liked it to be. They should create an aim assist system like the one seen in Call of Duty, where aiming automatically snaps to the nearest target. Now, a lot of you would say that this is probably cheap because that would take the challenge out of the game, but for someone who has a disability like I do, that makes all the difference in the world. I will likely play this on PC because the graphics will be that much better, and I want to immerse myself in Lost Haven as much as possible, but I will use a controller, so aim assist is a big need for me because I don't have coordination. I'm excited to drive motorcycles because they will be a first in the Mafia franchise with this game. And I do hope that in the same vein that they're including a classic mode for people that want a more realistic experience, I do hope that the easy mode in the game is a lot more forgiving than it was in Mafia 3, because Mafia 3's easy mode was not very forgiving, particularly when melee was involved. A lot of times you ran out of bullets and had to use melee, and when you did, the enemy was much superior at melee than Lincoln, who was a professional soldier. These are just some of the things that I hope are addressed in the Mafia Definitive Edition remake. But you guys should sound off in the comments. Let me know why you're excited about Mafia, even if it doesn't have anything to do with accessibility. Like I said, no spoilers in terms of story, because I've never played Mafia 1, so this will be a brand new experience for me. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Sound off in the comments. We'll have a conversation. Platoon dismissed. I'll see you guys in the next one.